Alright, back at it again. More TMNT Shredder's Revenge. And when it comes to these characters in the game, we all know as far as with the characters, you have Leonardo, you have Michelangelo, Raphael, Donatello, April, Splinter, and Casey Jones. Casey Jones, you have to just unlock him by beating the game one time. And that's practically all the characters for now, unless there's an update where they add another character or two and whatnot. But going based off of the characters we have now currently in the game, because playing this a bunch, play it online and whatnot, it seems like this thing going around as far as which characters is like the best when it comes to the best character to use, such and such, all of that. So we have to go based off of their stats and what they can do. Now, of course, with the combos that they do, that's null and void. We're talking about as far as with their super, how much damage output they could put out, and all of that is determined by, as you can see, by three categories. You got range, speed, and power. Every character has their ups, they got their downs, and you have one in particular, which is Leonardo, who is straight up balanced all the way through, and he's the only character in the game that is balanced, which brings me to him. His range, his speed, and his power is a 2-star. 3 is obviously the highest, but for him it's straight up 2s right across the board, so he is balanced. As far as with his damage output, when it comes to his special attack, he can do a lot of damage, especially if the enemy is real close to him. The speed, which I like to call his rate, as far as how much speed that his power can dish. The range is how much of the screen that he can cover. And we all know as far as with power, which is the damage. That's Leonardo in a nutshell. Balance right across the board. Now, we're going to move on to Michelangelo because he is different. His range is a 1-star. His speed is a 3. His power is a 2. So, when it comes to Michelangelo, his range is so bad. You have to literally be close to somebody with him in order to do damage. His power is obviously fine. It's at a 2. It's not like a 1. It's actually in the middle. His speed, however, is flat out insane, being at a 3. Seeing as how he used nunchucks, he's going to go whoosh, 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 whoosh. Fine. Raphael, his range, garbage. His speed, in the middle, but he has a power of 3, which is a 3-star. So he is the strongest character, one of the strongest characters in the game. Because when he hits people, for the most part, they will die. When you hit him with a boss, with his special, he will do significant amount of damage. So he is very useful. Donatello now. Donatello in this game is interesting because not only he has a range of 3, which is awesome. His speed, however, is at a 1. But his power is at a 2. And I'm not worried about his speed in this game because of the fact that when his special does dish out, it will dish out really slow. It will just do the animation for what he does. But when his animation for his special is over, he tends to keep it up without the cartoon animation going. And some of you guys know what I'm talking about as far as when you use his special and when his full animation is over, he will still do his attack. That's a part of the whole thing as far as trying to keep the power and the speed being low, but the range will still be there. So that's Donatello. He has range of speed, which is a 3-star. His speed is a 1 and his power is a 2. April now. April's range is not bad. It's at a 2. Her speed is at a 3. So she is going to be moving really fast with her superpower. Right? But her power is garbage. She's not going to be doing that much damage. She just not. So just for the sake for April, her speed will make up for it. Just because her power being so low, the speed will make up for it. So she'll just be swinging and swinging her hammer around so much. So that is April. Splinter, however, now, his range is at a 2. His speed is a 1. His power is a 3-star, which is awesome because as far as with him, martial arts teacher, such and such, his power is going to be high. His speed may be on the low side, but the range and the power will make up for it because he could cover a good part of the screen. And because of his power being a 3-star, he will take out most enemies on the screen that gets in contact with him. So he's fine. Casey Jones, however, he has a range of 3. His speed and his power is at a 2. Now you must be like, okay, Casey Jones has to be one of the strongest, even though his power is not a 3. I'll explain. His ultimate power, his superpower, in which he takes out both of his hockey sticks, and he will start swinging it back and forth, and he covers a huge part of the screen. He's technically Leonardo, but on steroids, just because of his range. So Casey Jones and Leonardo, you could practically say they're kind of like the same character in this game. It's just that Casey Jones has 3-star range versus Leonardo being a 2. All right. So if you're just gonna go by which character you should lose between the two of them, I would just say Casey Jones just based off of range, because he could hit enemies that are a little bit further than him versus Leonardo just because of range. All right. So this comes into question as far as who's the best character in this game. Well, if you're just gonna go based off of power and looking at stats, you will probably say Raphael. You could just say Splinter, because those are the only 2 characters in the game that have a power of 3. All right. Now, if you're talking about, I don't worry about power, I'm just gonna go by speed. That's Michelangelo and April. If you're just going by range, it's just clear that Casey Jones has the most range that we have in the game. Casey Jones also to go along with Donatello. All right. But you ask me personally, as far as who is actually the best character in the game, my personal opinion, I'm going to go with Casey Jones just because of how much of the screen he takes up. Now, you might as well say, well, why not just say Donatello? The speed is at a 1. Casey Jones has a speed of 2. Remember I told you about that speed goes along with like the rate at which the power is able to continue to go at such a crazy speed? That's Casey Jones. Casey Jones has the edge on that over Donatello. Donatello, however, when his power is done, his animation will go for a second or 2 and then it will stop. Casey Jones, once his power is done, it's done. He's done, that's it. Moving right along. You do your taunt to refill your gauge again so you could do another special and so on and so forth. Now, you can't really go wrong with having Raphael or Splinter just by going off of power alone. The only thing I would say Raphael has over Splinter is the fact of speed. Here it goes again. Even though Splinter has the range and he could hit more, his speed will kind of hurt him in the long run, because his speed being so slow and even though the power being so high, I want to be able to hit the enemy at such a fast rate that I'll be doing so much damage within the time limit that every character has while doing their super. Alright? So Raphael, he could keep his stuff going for a little bit longer. Splinter, however, once he does it, it's going to be so slow. And you'll be like, well, damn. If I could hit at least something, alright. But it's so slow but his range will make up for it. Versus Raphael, his range is so mediocre that you have to be close. But when you're going up against bosses, right, you're going to be close to them anyway. So that range being at a 1 star for Raphael doesn't matter. It's just a matter of the speed being at a 2 and his power being where it is at a 3. All right? So if you want to go off of that, go right ahead. But to each his own. Some people will say Donatello's the best, April's the best, depending on playstyle, such and such. If you just want to talk about doing the best damage output, covering most of the map, and the speed to go along with it, I'm just going to go with Casey Jones just because he has the range to cover as much of the screen. He has more than enough speed because of his super and the power alone. Since the enemies are going to be within striking distance anyway, and he covers most of the map, just being at a 2-star is more than enough. And since he has 2 hockey sticks, no matter if they're left or on the right, he's going to hit everything. You know what I'm saying? So, who is the best character for me? Casey Jones. And some people will say, no, Splinter's the best. Fine. I'm just saying who's the best character in the game. My opinion, is Casey Jones. What do you guys think as far as who's the best character in the game? Let me know.